Hello, Gore Nation. In today's episode for the Morning Market Mindset, we're taking a look at the S&P 500. Now, I think that there's pretty much two prevailing ideas that we need to be aware of for today's session, okay? Now, if you saw yesterday's video, then you should probably already be aware of it. But for the first variation, we're looking at this as a bigger move that's basically just continuously going higher, okay? Now, if that's going to be the case, then we should see some sort of three-legged pullback here to get us underneath some of these pivots as we look to now rotate back up to the prior high, okay? Now, as a connection to this actual setup here, if you do notice that the market falls down substantially lower, then we need to change our idea because ultimately the market is clearly bearish at that point, in which we're trying to retest this prior low over here at 68.51 and a quarter, okay? So just be aware that there is a bear case scenario, i.e. red, and then there is a, we could just kind of label this blue for now because it's kind of neutral as it stands, okay? Now, ultimately, the second scenario that we do need to be aware of is if we kind of scoot this over, we could have a potential range here, okay? So big move up into a range, something like so, in which we haven't actually failed down lower, which we would expect because we want to buy and go back to the upside. And in this scenario, we've actually gone up higher, okay? So that means that we could see the potential for a similar event in which we can now define this as the range midpoint. So we would assume that this thing is going to now try to collapse the full distance above that midpoint and try to go down to the preceding value underneath it, okay? So that would put us in the neighborhood right around here. So that's subjectively pretty close to what we were trying to do before in this blue case scenario, but it is deemed as something different, okay? Now from this position of still strength, we would look for a pullback to go into that zone, and then look for a buying opportunity out of it, okay? Now in this scenario, we're not just looking to retest the prior high, but also the swing as we look to rotate back up, okay? So let's just say we go down a little bit lower than where we are. We would expect this full distance here to be the projection above, which is basically the prior high, but just a little bit more as you can see with the swing, all right? So those are going to be the primary paths that you need to be aware of for today. However, if you want to trade this exact same setup today live, then come and join me at the live stream that I have on my YouTube channel that's probably going on right now. It starts at 9:30, so make sure you're there.